Good morning and welcome to Today in LA. I'm Mike Amos. He's Will Matthews. The judge is with us today, so be real concerned about you whether or not we'll have to take you downtown and make bond or whatever this morning. Good to see you, my friend.
Good to be here.
And of course, Will Matthews is our local attorney, the Matthews Law Firm, and of course, hometown Ozark, Alabama. Of course, you do preside a lot of your time in Dothan. Is that right?
Well, I'm the judge of Webb full time, but I practice law with my daughter in Ozark, and sometimes I do court for Matt up here in Troy, and I was going to do court for him this afternoon on some cases, but his public defender Tim McGee's got COVID-19, so
oh boy.
I need everybody to pray for him. Hope he gets better.
And I'll tell you something about him. He's got the longest streak of going to Troy University games out there. I want to say 260 games that he's been to in a row.
He's an interesting character and a real good lawyer.
And if I know him, he's going to find some kind of way to get to the stadium on Saturday afternoon for that game.
He may have to sit in his car up high somewhere and look down at the stadium.
He is a super Troy supporter, and of course, a very good attorney too. Of course, we're looking at the end of the week as we head toward the week before Thanksgiving, and people are starting to be concerned about the COVID-19 virus going out there, and some people say it's worse than ever, and some people said it's.
Well, Mike, both of my assistants have had COVID-19 for the last 2 weeks, and my paralegal just came back Monday.
Yeah.
She was out 2 weeks, and her daughter, who also works for us, she has COVID, and she's still a little under the weather.
Well, I'm wondering how close I should sit next to you.
Oh, I tested negative Friday. My daughter tested negative last week too. So
yeah.
We're fine. We wear masks, we social distance, we do all that stuff. And I'll be frank with you, I've only been over to the courthouse in Ozark maybe 3 or 4 times this year.
Yeah.
I stay away. Most of our stuff we do is now by Zoom.
Yeah. Okay.
And, we have hearings by Zoom, and we've managed 3 of the 4 judges in Ozark have had COVID-19.
Well, Mike Amos will be coming in on Zoom in just a few moments, and of course, a lot of news out of the university. They were changing their football schedule up quite a bit to suit everybody out there. Good morning, you on Today in LA. How you doing?
Hey, morning.
We got Will Matthews sitting next to us this morning, Mike. He came down here to take you to court, but you weren't here.
How's it going, Will?
I'm going to be down in your neck of the woods this weekend.
He's got on playing a
pro-am. Pro-am down there at Kelly Plantation, and it's that Emerald Coast tour. And I'm playing with Nick Rousey. I think you probably remember him. He played at Alabama. And
I remember Jeff Rousey.
Yeah, well, Jeff's my age.
Yeah, I know. He played linebacker.
Jeff made the tackle in the Penn State game in 1982.
No, he did not.
Didn't he?
No, he did not. Barry Krause.
He was on the field.
Hey, Rich Wingo, Barry Krause, Mary Legg, and Mike, you knew him by heart.
I had that picture above my bed of the goal line stand, and Dad made me name every single one of those players.
He was on the field, I'm sure.
Every single night.
And Marty Lyons was also on that goal line stand, wasn't he? That was pretty good football players.
Yeah, I think Don McNeil was on it as well.
Yeah, but
and you know what? Penn State had like 8 plays inside the 10-yard line. They never scored.
Yeah.
They had a first and goal. They played, and on 4th down, we got called for defensive holding, which was a phantom call, and they ended up on the 1-yard line and never got it in.
Yeah.
14-7.
Exactly right. And of course, we're looking at a very cool morning, 45 degrees as I looked out the window this morning. I think it was the low actually was around 40.
Yeah, it got cold last night.
We're gonna get call in and see if we can get an actual.
It's 50 degrees down here, so it's cold.
50 degrees in Graydon Beach, and Steve, how cold was it this morning for you? 39 here at the studio this morning, so quite cool, and that's the way it's supposed to be this time of year.
Well, it's November.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And of course,
I'll tell you what, I've been riding up and down 98 down here, and man, deer are just everywhere down here on the sides of the roads, equal ryegrass.
That's right. That's what I can't understand. You go out on these highways and you see all these deer, and we're actually planting food for them to eat in the median, and they're coming across the road, and people are hitting them in the car with the cars. And of course, it's like we're feeding them. But of course, the schedule is out, and this is something that I'm sure Brent Jones and all those guys that work so hard, the AD, they've got now.
Will Troy get to play Coastal Carolina?
They're going to play Coastal, and here's the way it's going to be set up here. They're going to play Middle Tennessee this weekend. Kickoff is at 2:30 from the vet. So that game is going to be on, hopefully, with our fingers crossed. December the 5th, Troy travels to South Alabama to play the University of South Alabama. That game is on December the 5th. I don't know the kickoff time, and that's one thing
he missed a really big game. Troy travels to play Appalachian State next week.
Oh, I forgot that one, didn't I? I'm glad but it doesn't mention that here on the information I have.
Troy will play Appalachian State next week at 7 o'clock on ESPNU. So after the Auburn-Alabama game is over, you can turn over to ESPNU and watch Troy Appalachian State.
Michael, is Auburn-Alabama going to be at 2:30, I assume?
Yeah, it's 2:30.
And that's the day after, the Saturday after Thanksgiving.
That's correct, yeah.
What's the date you got on Appalachian State?
The 28th, they're playing on Saturday.
I wonder how many fans are going to sneak into Bryant-Denny for that game.
I don't know.
I don't know. You know, we talked about it earlier in the season. Some athletic departments and some schools were allowing 20%, and some were allowing 25%. I don't know why Alabama didn't do 25%.
Yeah.
I think I told you all this, but I've been to one game this year, and I was in Memphis visiting my aunt. She's 84 years old, fixing to be 85. And I go every year. I go once a year. She's the only living relative I've got on my dad's side. And anyway, I went up there to see her, and we went out to dinner on Friday night. And then I decided to go down to Oxford. It's very close to Memphis, to see Auburn and Ole Miss. And I was just going to see what it would cost to get in the game. And I got 2 tickets for $20 to go see the game. And I will guarantee you there was 40 or 50,000 people in that stadium. There was no social distancing. Very few people wore masks. I mean, it was, and a great ball game.
Yeah.
Auburn pulled it out in the last minute. Ole Miss should have won the game.
Well, Ole Miss is 3-4, and
they ought to be 5-2 probably.
Yeah.
Kentucky.
Kiffin's done a good job.
They beat Kentucky because Kentucky missed the extra point. But I think there was another game they should have beat Arkansas. They outgained them about 500 to 200 and lost. So,
The Saturday.
I was listening to Chip Lindsey's press conference yesterday, Dad. He said that they've had COVID issues throughout the year, but they never announced how many cases and how many guys missed games. So,
yeah. If
you're a guy out in Vegas and you're wanting to place a wager on Troy, I would be very careful. You don't ever know who they're going to be playing, apparently. This is the first I've heard they've had issues every week.
Yeah.
But Gunnar Watson, the starting quarterback, was in the interview room, and he said his rib injury has got a lot better, and he's been practicing all week. So that will be huge if Troy can get him back.
Yeah, we sure would love to get him back. Of course, Middle Tennessee was a game that Troy played and won early in the year at Middle Tennessee, but this is a much better Middle Tennessee team than the team that Troy played then. And they'll play them this weekend. It's a 2:30 kickoff. Middle Tennessee University against Troy.
What conference is Middle Tennessee in now?
They're in the
OVC?
Conference USA.
Okay.
Conference USA with UAB and that bunch.
Yeah.
You know,
So they're just
Southern
trying
Miss.
to get games, I guess, MTSU is.
Oh, yeah. And Brent Jones, the athletic director at Troy, has done a super job, keeping Troy in the race, if I could say so, because that's what we're talking about. Playing enough games to be eligible for a bowl, maybe a possibility of winning a conference championship, are still out there for Troy if they could pretty much win on out. The Saturday, all right. So our situation is this right here, and I'm gonna call them out to you. We play Middle Tennessee at 2:30 this Saturday from the stadium here in Troy. $30 ticket for anybody that wants to come to the game. It's gonna cost you $30 whether you sit in the end zone or you sit on the 50-yard line. So that's pretty good for price for a very good football game. Then on Saturday, December the 5th, well, excuse me, Mike's corrected me here. They travel to Appalachian State in Boone, North Carolina. That's the Saturday after Thanksgiving, and the same day as the Alabama-Auburn game, but the Alabama-Auburn game will be played early in the day, won't it, Mike? What's the time?
2:30.
All right, the Alabama-Auburn game, what time is it?
2:30.
Oh, okay, excuse me. I want to ask you what the name of that restaurant in Highland Home in a minute if you keep talking. So that means Troy would play at, 6 o'clock in the afternoon against App State?
It says 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. And so that'll be a 7 o'clock kickoff.
I can't imagine how cold it's going to be at the end of that game.
Well, Boone, North Carolina is way up in the mountains, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, over 3,600 feet up in the air.
Yeah, oh gosh. Okay, so that's a big game on Saturday. Saturday, November the 28th. All right, then on Saturday, December the 5th, Troy travels to North Alabama to play the University of South Alabama.
Travels to North Alabama to play South Alabama.
Okay, I'll repeat that. They travel to Mobile to play the University of South Alabama. That is on Saturday. No time on that game yet. On Saturday,
you can stay in Biloxi. That'd be fun for a lot of Troy fans.
Sure would. On Saturday, December the 12th, Troy plays Coastal Carolina at the Vet. That is a big game there. That was a game that was postponed this past weekend, and now they're going to replay that game on December the 12th. What they did here, they traded with Louisiana Monroe. Is that right? Is that what happened, Mike?
Yeah, they switched dates, and Troy will play La Monroe now on Thursday.
I think the best game of the week this week is going to be App State and Coastal Carolina.
That's going to be a great game, no question.
Coastal 7-0, App State 6-1. That's going to be a great game. And the only game App State has lost is to Marshall, and they've got a real good team.
They really do.
Loaded.
They are very good.
You know, App State had a lot of turnovers against Marshall, too, so that was one of the reasons Marshall won the game.
It was a low-scoring game, wasn't it? Wasn't that a low-scoring game? Marshall and App
17-7 or something.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, really, in these days, that's really a ridiculous low score.
Then on
Coastal Carolina could be 11-0 coming into that game.
Yeah.
It could be in the top 10. Can you believe that?
They could be, no question about it. And that game, again, is Saturday, December the 12th. We're going to go into Christmas with this scheduling, looks like. On Thursday, December the 17th, this is a Thursday night in Troy. Louisiana Monroe comes to town, and that is, again, on a Thursday, December the 17th. So the thing about this schedule is we've got 5 more games left.
Yeah,
and that's
the
really
season's just half over, and it's middle November.
That's right, and Troy's a lot more fortunate than several other
Michael,
people.
another good game this weekend is going to be Central Florida and Cincinnati. That's going to be a war.
That is going to be a war.
And it's in if they had fans, I would give Central Florida a good chance to win. But with no fans or few fans, I don't know yet.
Well,
Who knows?
I tell you what, Cincinnati is good.
It makes you wonder what Vegas is doing on the Troy game. Troy won the first game 47-14, but this line's 11.5. So that makes you wonder. You beat a team on the road 47-14, and then at home you're only 11.5-point favorite.
Yeah.
They must think Troy's got a lot of guys out.
Well, I was looking at this too. Troy goes in the game with a 4-3 record, so they already played 7 games. And if they get this game in, they will actually play 11 games, which would be tremendous.
For this year, yeah.
Well, actually, it'll be getting this game in. It'll be 12 games. It would be 12 games if they get. You'd have Middle Tennessee.
They play them twice.
You got App State, You got App State, and then you got South Alabama, Coastal Carolina, and University of Louisiana Monroe. 5 more games left on Troy's schedule.
Monroe's really bad this year, aren't they?
Yeah, but
they won a game.
Yeah, they're awful.
I tell you what, they play us tough, though. I don't know what it is about it. They always play us tough.
I mean, as coaching staff, though, in the athletic department, how do you keep these guys out from going to parties and to the bar? And how does an 0-8 team stay in a bubble? I told Dad, I said, that's a game Troy needs to play immediately because those guys are going to be – they're going to have all kinds of COVID cases by the time December 17th comes around.
They'll be ready to pack it for the year.
Yeah, I don't think Troy will play that game.
Well,
who do you think South Carolina is going to hire to replace Muschamp?
They keep on talking about the Louisiana Lafayette coach.
Napier?
Napier had been at Clemson before. Of course, he was at Alabama. And a lot of people think he's the leading candidate for the job. So I guess we'll wait and see.
I've got a friend that's a real big South Carolina guy, and he told me he thinks it's going to be Clemson's offensive coordinator, whoever that guy is, which I don't know his name or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's Jeff Scott maybe or something.
I don't know.
I tell you, they keep on saying Freeze is going to wait another year and see if Tennessee opens. He's always wanted the Tennessee job.
Oh, really?
Well, I think I've told you this. Actually, the reason Kirby Smart is at Georgia was Hugh Freeze, and when McElwain got fired down at Florida. No, this was maybe before when McElwain got hired, I think. When McElwain got hired at Florida, Florida had a search going, and they wanted Hugh Freeze. And Hugh Freeze went to Ole Miss and got them to give him a big pile of money to keep him at Ole Miss. If he had gone to Florida, it had already been in the works that Kirby was going to leave Alabama and go to Ole Miss. And Jimmy Sexton works all this stuff. I mean, he's got all these coaches hooked up, so I figure whoever South Carolina hires is going to be a Jimmy Sexton client. And you look, Vandy's got to have a new coach. They're unwinless, or whatever you call it. They haven't won a game.
Yeah,
they're not going to win a game. And, he's been there 5 or 6 years. And they might could get the guy from Penn State back. He might come back.
You think so?
Fired. And he's a good coach.
Well, he is. You're right. He's just off to a bad start right now.
James Franklin.
Yeah.
And Michael, James Franklin's got a house down in Destin.
Yeah, I heard he has friends. They see him in Lake Martin a lot too. But the guy that sold me my last car, and he's a good friend of ours, Mr. Daly. His wife and
John Daly.
And they ran into the Franklins a couple times, and have actually maybe sold them cars. But they have 2 properties, one in Destin, one on 38. I heard.
Okay. Well, I knew he had a house in Destin, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Well,
of course, we got a lot going on in sports. You had the MAC games last night. Did you watch any of those?
No. Who won those games?
They were both blowout games. I mean, really.
I was putting up my Christmas tree.
Oh, you put it up last night?
Yeah, that's right.
Looks like we have cancellations spread this week. ACC announced Wake Forest and Duke is canceled due to COVID. We've already got one SEC game that's been canceled as well.
Who's that?
A&M's canceled again. I'm trying to think of who.
Oh, man.
Yeah, A&M must be eating up with it.
Yeah, it's really bad. Let's see.
We all have got to be more conscious of what we're doing.
A&M was going to play. Who are they going to play? I'll find it.
But already they're
Ole Miss. They were going to play Ole Miss.
Ole Miss is postponed, and then Miami beat Virginia Tech on the road with only 54 scholarship players, and now their game against Georgia Tech has been postponed. Marshall and Charlotte's been postponed. Duke and Wake Forest have been postponed. That's already 4 games this week.
Oh gosh, so we just got to keep our fingers crossed on whether we'll play a game here on Saturday. You know, Middle Tennessee doesn't have any problem with either way. What do you think?
Well, you don't know. You don't know what these athletic departments and what these coaches are releasing. So I tell you what, it's any of you guys to go out and place wagers this year and do it legally in Mississippi or in Vegas or wherever you do it. I tell you what, man, you're taking a huge risk this year. You don't know what these teams are going to have when they hit the field.
That's right. And of course, the good news is that Gunnar Watson, Troy's starting quarterback, got an extra week with the postponement of last week's game. So he's had almost 3 weeks to get better. Well, actually counting the Georgia Southern game, 3 weeks to get better. So hopefully he'll be back on Saturday to give us a shot at winning.
Well, you should beat Middle Tennessee State. I'll be shocked if Troy loses this game.
Well, I'll tell you right now, Middle Tennessee State is not a bad football team, Mike. They're not that bad. They're pretty good.
They're 2-5. But I guess they've played better since
they've gotten better. Yeah, no question.
Alabama line's at 31. Will, would you mess with that at all?
No, I think Kentucky's a lock at 31.
Well, you don't think Kentucky will score, do you?
No, I think Alabama won't beat them more than 31
points.
Will? Kentucky's got a good defense. They'll hold it. They'll make it closer than that. The line that you better look at is Florida's giving up about 30 to Vandy.
Vandy,
they could put 90 points on Vandy if they wanted to.
If they wanted to.
I watched them against Arkansas. Boy, that Trask, boy. I don't know if Arkansas had the worst secondary in the country, but every guy was wide open. If they weren't wide open, they made just unbelievable catches. I think Trask is the leading Heisman guy right now. If you had to vote right now, I'd say Trask is the man. A guy was talking about it on the radio yesterday. He said, Trask, he was playing behind De'Aaron King in high school, so he never started in high school in Texas. And King broke all the records in Houston. Now he's at Miami playing great.
Right.
And Trask ends up getting a scholarship to Florida. So his whole career he sits behind Felipe Franks. And if Felipe Franks doesn't break his leg last year, do we even hear of Cal Trask?
He never sees the field.
Yeah, it's just kind of amazing. Now this guy's going to be a first-round pick. So you just don't ever know in college football.
I saw an interesting stat this morning. The first 35 games of Florida coach, Mullen is 29-6. Okay?
Yeah.
Steve Spurrier was 29-6. Urban Meyer was 29-6. So that tells you right there, Mullen's the man, and he's going to do well at Florida. Already is.
Yeah, Mullen never beat Alabama at Mississippi State all those years, but he can probably beat Alabama at Florida.
And Mullen was #1 in the country one year and played Alabama late in the year, and Alabama was beat. And somebody picked one off and ran it back for a touchdown, and Dak Prescott threw a pick six. It cost them the game. And Mississippi State could have gone for the national championship that year.
Yeah, my wife's an artist and graphic designer, and she went to art school at Mississippi State, and we went to a lot of those Alabama Mississippi State games.
Oh yeah,
Dak was there.
To let everybody know, this Troy game this weekend has only 300 tickets available at $30 reserve tickets, or general admission, whatever, but reserve tickets are just $30 for the game this weekend. You better hurry to get them, though. Once they sell out, that'll be all they're going to sell for this game. So less than 300 single game tickets are available, so you need to head by the ticket office today at Troy. Call them at this number here, 9467-877-9467, and that's the ticket office number, or you can drive by then and pick it up. It's right.
Michael, your daddy will remember this. You're too young to remember this, but when I was at Vandy won the SEC in basketball. And back then, you used to play 2 games each weekend. You'd play Saturday and Monday. And Vandy would always play Alabama on Saturday, Mississippi State on Monday. It'd be a road trip. And the reason I thought about this, Terry Compton was a friend of mine. He's in a Nashville hospital with COVID, and he is in terrible shape right now. But
he was one of the.
He was with the F troop,
yeah.
But he was the non-F troop starter.
Yeah.
He was actually the highest scorer.
Bosnis, Fear, Ford, and Van Betterkopf.
And Terry Compton.
Now, see, isn't that unreal? They're household words.
Oh, yeah. And they anyway, they beat Alabama by 2 points on Saturday. And we went down to watch the game. Well, Starkville's just 80 miles down the road. We went over to Mississippi State the next night, and Mississippi State was awful. So we're going to beat them by 20, no question. Well, Vandy is ahead by 1, and they foul one of our players. He misses both free throws. So Vandy's ahead by 1 with 3 seconds to go. And would you believe they got all 4 shots before the clock ran out? I mean, it was the clock operator didn't even start the clock till they got down there. And they were firing it at the basket, and it didn't go in, and Vandy won.
Yeah.
And that year, Michael, they only let 1 school from the SEC go to the tournament. And Alabama and Vandy were 16-2.
Yeah.
But Vandy beat Alabama both times, so they got to go to the tournament.
Yeah. Will Matthews is our guest host this morning.
Wasn't the NIT about as big as going to the NCAA?
It was, yeah. But after that, there was such an uproar because Alabama had such a good team. They opened the tournament up. From then on, they went to like 32 teams and then to 48 teams, and now they've got 70 teams now in it.
This might bring back a memory or two. The Brundage Country Club. I'm sure you have played in a few rounds of golf there before.
I won that tournament 2 or 3 times. 4 balls.
Let me tell you, I went down there yesterday, and Forrest Lee gave me a tour of the golf course. It was in excellent shape.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
The greens were in great shape, and just a beautiful layout, and it's very reasonable. A lot of local golfers go there to play golf. I think it's just $12 for a round, and plus $8 or $10 for your golf cart. $10 for your golf, or $8 for your golf cart.
Your buddy Barney Burnett.
That's right.
And I've been friends for years. Barney and Jack Archer tied with me and Ray Shelley from Ozark in the Brundage tournament. And we go to the playoff, and Jack Archer duck hooks one over the road out of bounds, and he just walked into the clubhouse.
Yeah.
And Barney played us by himself for 3 holes, and he liked to beat us. But he just quit. He just quit.
And then at one time, Jack Archer was one of the top amateur golfers in the state.
He was a phenomenal golfer, yeah.
And, of course, was the son of
the coach.
John Archer, the coach. Is that right?
That's right.
Before we get away from all this, again, I want to mention Troy has just 300 tickets remaining at $30 a piece. That's it right there. You can sit pretty much anywhere except in the reserve section but the tickets are available throughout the stadium, and at $30 a piece. Of course, yesterday you remember the interview we had with Coach, the head football coach at Pike Liberal Arts, and they've got a huge game coming up.
That's in Montgomery, isn't it?
That's right. They're going to play the game in Montgomery. Pike Liberal, of course, will play for the state championship in 3A at Crampton Bowl in Montgomery. That game is scheduled, actually scheduled to kick off at 7 o'clock. So Coach Mario White has his team ready, and we've got a call coming in from here. We're going to put you on. This would be Max.
Troy Cable's going to film that game, too.
Yeah, Troy Cable's going to film it live. That's the great thing about it. Let's go to our phones this morning. Good morning, Max. How you doing?
Doing great, Mike. How are you this morning?
Guess who's sitting next to me? Will Matthews.
Hey, Coach.
All right, good. Hey, well, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. I've got court up here, so I joined Mike this morning.
All right, we're going to bring, speaking of Mike, we're going to bring Mike, young Mike in here in a second. Let's put you on hold, and let's go to our, we'll go one more time. There we go. We got both of you in here now. We've got Will Matthews sitting next to me. We've got Mike Amos from Grayton Beach, and we've got the legendary one, Max Howell from Fulton, Mississippi. Good morning, Max.
Morning, guys. Only in my own mind, Mike.
That's right, only on your own mind. I tell you what, it's a lot going on in Troy and everywhere. If you look at all the people that are not going to play football this weekend. And, of course, Troy right now is scheduled to play Middle Tennessee State this Saturday afternoon here in Troy. And but already we've seen a lot of cancellations due to the COVID-19 situation.
Well, I mean, Ole Miss and Texas A&M's already been canceled.
It's Ole Miss, yeah.
That's back-to-back weeks for A&M. I don't see how they can stay fifth or sixth in the country when they keep canceling ball games.
Yep.
And you know, I understand why. I mean, certainly do. But for some reason, at the college level, guys, and I don't know about in Alabama, Mississippi. If there's two teams, one's qualified and has team of players ready to go, and the other one is attacked by the virus, and they have to forfeit, the team that forfeited loses that ball game. They go in the win, and the other team's win is appointed a win and goes in their one-loss column.
So you're talking about in high school they do that.
At the high school level.
Yeah, they're not doing it in college.
Yeah, they do it in high school here in Alabama. They've had to forfeit games due to COVID.
Hey, Max, I got an idea.
Okay.
Call your buddy Lane Kiffin and tell him he's got a good defensive coach just got fired Sunday. He can go get him for cheap because they're paying him like $15 million. He can get him, probably pay him $1 million, and then he can get whatever from South Carolina. And maybe they can put some kind of defense on the field.
Well, I agree. They've already had, of course, 4 players exit since Will's been dismissed. So it's going to be interesting to see where he pops up. I think Georgia's going after him, really. And I don't know about Florida. Florida's a team I watched pretty closely, mainly because of Dan Mullen. Got to know him when he was at Mississippi State. Well, great offensive mind, but Todd Grantham has historically done a pretty good job defensively, but they can't compete in the SEC, not for the championship. They can't beat Alabama with the defense they got right now.
No, it's awful. What I was telling them this before you called in. Mullen is 39-6, his first 45 games. Spurrier was 39-6, his first 45 games, and Urban Meyer was 39-6. All three of them have the same record starting out. That which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, no question about it.
So does that, Will, does that qualify for a statue outside the stadium? That's the question.
I don't know yet, but I know one's going to get a statue if he keeps it up. Is that quarterback down there?
Oh, Trask, he is.
Trask is.
Is that not an amazing story?
And I'm going to tell you something. Trask has moved up his draft status big time.
Well, no kidding. I mean, he's 6'6", 240 pounds first. And he's got more than average ability, and Dan coached him up. But you know what, guys? Go back and look. Alex Smith at Utah, Tim Tebow at Florida.
Oh yeah.
Dak Prescott at Mississippi State. He's got a history of that.
That's right.
It's amazing. Of course, Will Matthews is our guest hosted today. He's here to do a little legal business in Troy this weekend, or today. Of course, Max Howell, a very well-known football analyst, and appears. I'd hate to have to count how many shows you come on every week, but you stay pretty busy, don't you?
Pretty good. good. Yeah, during the fall, that's somewhere between 8 and 10 every week. And,
Yeah.
University of Alabama just picked me up to do a podcast for their alumni association, so I'm doing that on Sunday afternoon now. That's a whole
Well, that's
new
good.
adventure for me. So yeah, it's been it's been a good run. I had a great career, and I'm thankful for everybody. And actually, Will knows it actually started in Ozark, Alabama.
That's right. I was just a child. I was probably, I don't know, I was probably 3 or 4 years old when you were coaching at Carroll. And I'm 64 now, so I would think you're probably close to 80.
I already passed it. Will already passed it.
You already got past
but
80.
he's in better shape than most 80-year-olds I know. I guarantee he's already worked out this morning way before we got up.
I'm 64 now. But I was going to tell you, Max, I went to my first ball game this year. I've got an aunt that lives in Memphis, and she's 84 years old. I've already told them this, but I went up to Memphis, and we had dinner Friday night, and Auburn was playing Ole Miss in Oxford. And I said, I think I'm going to go down there and see if I can get a ticket on the street. And I bought 2 tickets for $20.
Oh, gosh.
And I went in, I'm going to tell you something. They said they had 20% or 25%. That's an absolute falsehood. They had probably 35, 40,000 people in there. And
Wow.
the student section was packed. I mean, just, wall to wall. And Ole Miss had them beat. And then they throw a pass in the flat, and 2 Ole Miss defensive backs ran into each other trying to tackle the guy and missed. And then off he goes by himself for a touchdown with about a minute to go.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, I think that, of course, the biggest thing in Ole Miss, I think they give the students the tickets this year.
They probably do.
You're familiar with that room right there? Look.
That's they're showing my law firm on there.
That's right. Of course, also Goldfinger's. Man, if you've never eaten a Goldfinger's fried chicken, I promise you've missed out. And, of course, their hamburgers and French fries are wonderful. I tell you, it's a great place to eat.
I've got one across the street from my house in Dothan.
And good food, no
Oh,
question
yeah.
about it. And want to mention also our friends at the Circle Insurance Agency in Ozark, Alabama. Sam Judah is a friend of yours too, isn't he?
He and I went to high school together, grade school together, all the way up. We're the same age.
Now, his son was quite a baseball
He
player.
was, and he almost made it to the majors. He was close, but
That's
now
right.
he's coaching now.
And he also just went into a Hall of Fame too. I want to say it was at Auburn Montgomery.
Yeah,
or something.
that's where he played.
And I tell you, quite a young man too, no question about it.
Good player.
Max, it's come out. The SEC now reported. You're talking about how some of these teams don't have COVID issues, and some of these other teams do. That from here on out, up until Monday now, you could possibly have a game changed within the conference to play 2 healthy teams that have not played. Just so you could have somebody playing. And that came out yesterday. Nick Saban, of course, was not real happy about having that option. Because you're preparing in advance. So that's something going forward. Alabama for sure is going to play Kentucky this weekend, and Tuscaloosa for sure going to play the Iron Bowl against Auburn. But the game against Arkansas looks like now it maybe will be pushed back to the 12th, and Alabama will try to play LSU on the 5th. So after that, all these games were kind of unknown for the coaches.
Isn't that amazing?
I'm sure LSU would rather not play Alabama.
Yeah, I agree.
You would think that.
But
I hope they do. I hope they do after the way Orgeron ran his mouth in the locker room and on the field after the game last year. I hope they destroy him.
yeah.
Guys, they got enough problems already off the field down there to write a book about.
Max, explain something to me. How in the world can Orgeron hire that guy, defensive coordinator, that Pelini? He's been a failure everywhere he's gone. Everywhere. I mean, really? And he's,
Well, I mean, you can ask Mike and him. That first day we read about it, I ran off on him big time. Mainly because I sit here in my den every Saturday, and I still got enough coaching, and I charge those guys. And he does not understand secondary coverage, I'm going to tell you. That Alabama will name their score The line had already gotten to 29, I believe.
Oh yeah, Alabama will slaughter them if they play them.
They will be.
And isn't that the only game? Isn't that the only game Mississippi State's won? Really?
Absolutely. That was the first game of the year.
Vanderbilt, your alma mater.
Well, Vanderbilt hadn't beat anybody, so
and Vanderbilt outplayed them all over the football field. Vanderbilt fumbled right there on the 5, and they ran it in to score. They won by 1.
Yeah, and they were 17-point underdogs.
Bellini, one school hired him. Yeah, hired him at Nebraska.
Oh, he was terrible at Nebraska.
That was a terrible fit. I mean, you could just look at it and could tell that was a terrible fit.
He went to, like the Ohio University or somewhere out there. They fired him from there.
Yeah.
Youngstown State. I think it was at Youngstown State.
Yeah, the only inside information I got from down there is that he was friends with a couple of big alumni that really supported the program. And they leaned on Ogeron to hire him, and they did. And listen to this, guys. He's got a 3-year contract on top of that.
Well, they'll be paying 2 of them.
Well, I think so, too. Well,
he had been at LSU before, though. He had already been there as defense coordinator.
He was with Les Miles.
Yeah,
he was. But see, they fired him. They fired him because he's a disaster on the sideline.
I just can't understand that one.
Well, I don't either, but I think right now, guys, I don't know where you falling inside. LSU's fixing to implode from the inside out. They got legal problems blooming every day. Not only just on the recruiting side, but they got the Baylor concept.
Yeah, probation looks like it's going to happen, and a lot of sexual.
Of course, we don't know that for sure. Now that's just our opinion.
I think Muschamp's going to wind up getting a good job. I mean, as a defensive coordinator, I think that somebody will hire him.
I think that's where he'll.
Well, I believe I could take. I think I could take that $13.5 million and get on a horse and ride off into the sunset. Don't you think?
Mike, don't you think that's all he got? Don't you know? He got another 6 when they let him go at Florida.
Did he?
He's got plenty of money. And hey, Max, I can remember when he was working in Abbeville for Yellowfeller, making $50,000 a year, not even in coaching. And Kirby was over there with him, and Jimmy Rain was just running them around, getting advertising lined up and stuff. And then Saban wound up hiring both of them.
That's exactly right.
And the rest is history.
You know who you don't hear a lot about anymore, and I can't understand it? You don't hear a whole lot about Auburn. Auburn's got a good football team, Max.
Auburn's lucky to be what they are right now.
When they play, Mike, they do.
Yeah.
Listen, Auburn, this is what Auburn's known for, good, particularly Gus's program. The most consistent thing about Auburn is inconsistency. They do not play at the same level every week. Now, you tell me where that comes from. It all starts at the top. I'm telling you. They've been there, done that.
Do you know what my theory is about?
I still can't believe they got beat by Minnesota in the bowl game last year after watching Minnesota play a few times this year. They're awful.
I know it. You're absolutely right. Again, something somewhere, and I don't know where it's Gus's introvert personality. I don't know what it is. But I don't know. But there's they recruit very well, and at some games they play. You guys have watched them as much as I have. Some games they don't make a mistake. The next week they'll go out there. They can't block anybody. They screw up on the defensive side, miss coverages. I don't know, misreads. Just a ton of different things like they didn't even practice that week.
Well, I don't know what Auburn's record is, but I know this: they should have lost to Kentucky. They should have lost to Arkansas. Kentucky got robbed of a touchdown right before the half. That would have put them ahead.
They should have lost Ole Miss. The guy touched that.
Ole Miss, the Ole Miss game, they were behind by 1 point. And then that fluke touchdown, I think they could have still gone down and kicked the field goal and maybe won the game. But
I think so too.
But it was a fluke touchdown they got. And now LSU is LSU. Everybody's beating LSU. Tennessee is horrible this year. Now I thought they were going to be good, but they're 2-4. So Auburn ought to beat them. They're 4-2. They ought to beat Tennessee. And then they play Alabama. That's going to be.
But they did, and that right now they're in pretty good shape.
I think Alabama and A&M are going to beat Auburn to death.
Yeah. Well, all right, but now is there a chance that that Alabama and Auburn game could be? Well, it couldn't be for the conference championship, but it will determine who'll win the West, don't you think?
Oh yeah, certainly.
No. Auburn's already lost twice. Auburn's done.
Auburn's out of it, but if Alabama beats Auburn, they locked in because they beat A&M straight up.
Yeah.
Alabama would have to lose twice for A&M to get in.
That's not going to happen.
Well, a lot remains to be seen.
Go back and check Jimbo. When Jimbo goes to Auburn, I don't care what. He's another one that kind of falls to pieces. It would not surprise me to see Auburn beat A&M that last game in Auburn. And if it does, of course, that completely knocks Jimbo and them out because they already got one loss anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, they'll give Malzahn another 5 years if he beats A&M.
Absolutely. You're right. They will. You're absolutely right.
No question about it.
I'm Vegas right now. If Alabama played Florida, what do you think that line would be, Will? You think it'd be under 7?
Oh, yeah. I think it's a field goal or less. Absolutely. I think it's 2 or 3 points.
The over and under will be 90.
The over-under will be 70-something, which is high.
Yeah.
Max, I went over in the Ole Miss. Ole Miss was playing South Carolina. The over-under was 73, and I went over, and it went to like 90. I mean, they scored a million points.
Max, do you give North Alabama any chance at BYU this weekend?
No. Lord God, that's going to be 50-0.
Yeah, but they get that exposure. North Alabama, a few years ago, they were Division
BYU
2.
has got a good team. That quarterback for BYU is a good player.
He's the guy to me. I think will win the Heisman.
No, he won't.
Line is 47.5.
Yeah, BYU quarterback. Nobody's watched him play. His name's Wilson. I wonder if he's kin to the Wilson that played there years ago.
Yeah, he's a first round pick, guys. The NFL. I tell you, he's Zach Wilson. I watch him every Saturday night.
What do you do between Trask and Sunshine? I mean, that's Trask has moved way up in draft order.
I don't think there's going to be any doubt. He's going to be a first rounder.
Oh yeah.
Unless he gets hurt or something.
I think he's going to be a top 5, and I think Fields at Ohio State will be a top 5.
No, I agree with you.
What about Trevor Lawrence?
He's number 1. I mean, he'll be number 1.
He better cut his hair, though. He's like Sampson. He needs to cut his hair.
If I was Trevor Lawrence, I would do what Eli Manning did. You remember Eli was going to be the number 1 pick and go to San Diego. And he said, I'm not going to sign with San Diego. So San Diego made a trade with the Giants, and Giants were going to pick second so they could get Eli in San Diego. I think they got Phillip Rivers, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think they did.
I think that's right. They did.
And, who was a good player.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. We're going to take a
Super
short
Bowls.
break. We'll be right back with more of Today in L.A.
Have you seen an increase in your insurance premiums or significant change in your insurance coverage? Let Sandbeck Insurance offer you a better plan to suit your business or personal needs. Sandbeck Insurance offers many lines of insurance, whether it's home, farm, or auto insurance, work comp, business, or health and life policies. Sandbeck is here for you. Call or visit our Troy, Enterprise, or Andalusia office today. Sandbeck Insurance, where we take pride in taking care of your insurance needs.
Our history is woven with the stories of those we serve. At Max, we've been a good community partner for 65 years. Max is dedicated to providing dependable financial services and to supporting our communities. We volunteer our time and share our resources. As a credit union, we've returned millions of dollars back to our members, local nonprofits, and small businesses. Max is honored to be a part of your story. We look forward to serving you for years to come.
Here at Bill Jackson Chevrolet in Troy, we've been doing business the right way for 31 years. But don't take our word for it. We feel our customers express it the best.
Been honest in everything we've discussed with them.
When they say Jackson Satisfaction, they really mean it.
The Jackson satisfaction is real.
Never know how. Trojan Auto Parts of Troy, home of Napa Know-How. Stop by and see owners Mike and Melissa Kilcrease and their Napa Know-How team with over 100 years of combined experience. We're the only locally owned parts store in Pike County, and we're fully stocked and ready to serve you. We pride ourselves on being your go-to parts store, not only for the simple items, but we specialize in those hard-to-find items as well. Trojan Auto Parts, the right part at the right price at the right time. Napa, a name you've trusted here in Troy since 1945.
What's the other one before?
720, 740 and around. It depends now, like 8:10, but it went off early this time. It's not doing 40 minutes. It doesn't seem like.
Well, it didn't go off. I reset it, Mike.
All right. Well, what are we gonna do? 8:05.
I mean, Steve can just do it, and I can be off screen for minutes. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah. Back to our show, brought to you by A1 Services. Terry Moats, my good friend. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure a lot of you out there woke up to 39-degree temperatures this morning, and if you need work done on your heating unit, you need to call Terry Moats today at A1 Services, and he'll do the job for you. Of course, whether it's air conditioning or if it's gas, heat, or gas cooking, whatever you use gas for, the Southeast Alabama Gas District, located in Andalusia, Alabama, with numerous offices across Central and South Alabama. Will Matthews is our guest this morning, and he's from the other end. He calls in a lot, and of course he's our local attorney here, and here to do a little court work. You do this quite often, don't you?
Yeah, I do court for Matt sometimes. He has problems, and
talking about Matt Baker.
Matt Baker, he's a great guy, great judge. Nick Severa was a judge up here for 25 years or more, and when he would have a conflict, they would call me up to do court for him. But I was supposed to come up this afternoon, and I was actually going to stay up here all day, and the public defender, Tim McGee's, got COVID-19, so they had to cancel all of my cases.
I don't reckon there's any problem with us sharing that without.
Well, I mean, I'm praying for him. I hope he gets better.
And Mike,
I told them both of my assistants had COVID-19. My secretaries, they've been out for 2 weeks.
You're making me want to back up a little bit.
I tested negative. I never got near either one of them, but it's everywhere. Three of the four judges in Ozark have had it.
Move as far left as you can. Right. Of course, we've had it around here too, and of course, hopefully we'll get those guys back. Like even on this show, they had to sit out for a little while, and hopefully Bill Rice will be back with us before long. And a great guy. I want to mention an open house in downtown Troy this weekend. Open house from this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sunday from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. All the stores in downtown Troy have huge sales going on, and they got a $500 downtown dollar giveaway also part of it. We hope to bring the Chamber of Commerce people in tomorrow to talk more about it.
Where are you living now, Max?
I live just out. I live. If you went to Memphis, you came. Did you go 22? You go across on 22.
Absolutely.
When you cross the state line, I'm right at the Fulton exit.
Okay, you're way before Tupelo.
Oh yeah, about 18 miles from Tupelo.
Yeah.
I live down on the river. You turn go 25 south. I live down on the river.
I went by there twice, heading over there 3 weeks ago, I guess it was.
You know where Tunica is. How far do you live from Tunica?
Oh, I'm about an hour and a half.
They've got an interstate that goes from 22 straight to Tunica now, 69 or whatever, I-69.
Is that operation still going?
Oh God, yes.
It is still.
They've only got 2 or 3 that are open though. A lot of them are closed.
Yeah.
I think the sports book saved it, guys. I'm gonna tell you. I've been over there on Saturday just to watch a ball game with friends. You look down the hall, and that line of the sports book will be out the door.
Oh yeah.
Max, I was there Saturday morning before we went over to Oxford.
Yeah.
The line went all the way out, way to the front. They opened at 8 o'clock, And I bet there were 300 or 400 people in line ready to make some bets.
Yeah. That really saved Tunica. I tell you, they were drying up on the vine.
Yeah.
Now down the coast, the Beau Rivage was on the coast down. You know, they're all up and down the Mississippi River. Greenville's got them, Vicksburg.
Yeah, that's right.
Too small.
Max Howell is our guest this morning, as he is every Wednesday on our show, and appreciate his input. Of course, we've got. I was going to finish it up or call it out one more time. And Max, this is Brent Jones, the athletic director at Troy, was able to come in. It took him hours and hours and hours to do this, but he has put together a 5-game slate for Troy for the rest of the season. It all begins this Saturday against Middle Tennessee. That's a 2 o'clock kickoff. That's the only times that I have. Then on they're off a week for Thanksgiving.
No, they play
excuse me, on the 28th. That's right, the 28th, which is the 2 days after Thanksgiving. They travel to Boone, North Carolina to play Appalachian State. And then they come back to Troy and travel the next week on December the 5th to Mobile to play South Alabama. And then the next Saturday, December 12th, this is the game that was postponed this past weekend, Troy versus Coastal Carolina, undefeated Coastal Carolina. That will be on Saturday, December the 12th, here in Troy. And then they'll finish up the season, regular season, on a Thursday night, December the 17th. They're going to play University of Louisiana at Monroe. They're going to play them here in Troy to finish the regular season.
That'd be ugly.
Now, I don't know how they're going to do the bowls. I hear that the bowls, we're not going to even look at records this year. It doesn't matter.
I'm wondering if they're going to have fans.
That's where the rope's going to come.
Yeah, I mean, how can you have fans of these things? You haven't had fans all year.
Yeah.
And who's going to go to New Orleans for a bowl game if you can't go to the game? That's crazy.
Yeah, I know it. But hopefully they'll be able to work something out there. You know.
The playoffs, one of the playoffs is going to be at the Superdome.
Yeah.
I don't know where the other one is.
Surely if you drink enough hurricanes, that will kryptonite to the virus.
Yeah. But now again, the bowls can pick anybody. They can pick a team that's 3-8 if they wanted to. You know, just according this year only. This year only. But that says you got to have at least 6 wins to go to a bowl game.
No, that's out the door.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's out the door.
Yeah.
I will tell you this though, something that people don't realize is that Montgomery's added another bowl. They've got a bowl game on the 23rd of December, and they've got a bowl game on Christmas Day.
There's only two reasons to have bowl games, and that's for people to bet on them, and for the TV to have something to put on TV, and that's about it.
Yeah, they're all ESPN games.
You know, of course, ESPN, like you said, does own these games.
What about the universities? Are they going to get the expenses paid if they have no crowd?
Yeah, I know it. You're right.
I doubt it.
I doubt it too.
I doubt it.
Well, like for this game this week.
A lot of times the expenses exceed what they get for the game.
Like for this game this week, you know, you've got season ticket holders, and you know that all will have tickets to the game, and now they're making available 300 single game tickets at $30 a piece for the rest of the audience. So.
You know what Coastal Carolina said though? I read an article about them playing Appalachian State. They're going to have a sellout crowd for that game.
How are they going to do that? I reckon they do whatever they want to, can't they?
Apparently, the school and the athletic department can do whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
Yep. It's going to be a great game, Michael.
It really is.
I'm just hoping that they're undefeated, 11-0 when they play Troy on the 12th.
All right.
Something else.
Is that game this weekend?
Yes,
App State and CC, Coastal Carolina.
And Michael, for some reason, there's no line on it, so somebody must be hurt or something. Something's going on.
Something that was very unusual, Max. I want you to hear this.
App State had guys out against Georgia State. You know, App State barely beat Georgia State at home. Might be some COVID stuff going on.
Might be. I mean, you're right.
And I'll tell you what, everybody's playing everybody tough. Texas State led in that ball game against Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern finds a way to win right at the end, 40-38.
Well, they've
this
come
past
up with a
weekend.
line now. App State is a 5-point underdog to Coastal.
Have you seen Coastal play?
Yes, they look good.
They're big and strong, I know that.
They'll beat App State more than 5 points.
I would think so.
Well,
They got a defense. They got a defensive front. Looks like an SEC defensive front. Huge guys.
well, let me ask this: they play at Coastal, or they play
at Coastal.
Yeah.
Yeah, home game for Coastal.
And see, one of those bowl games coming up is also at Coastal, and I wouldn't doubt if Coastal would not be the host team for that, just to help boost that bowl game.
Michael, Coastal could conceivably get into the
They could,
big bowls
if they don't.
if
you're
Cincinnati gets beat.
Yeah, New Year's Day Bowl is what Coastal would like to do, but Cincinnati probably will win out.
Surely, well, what I cannot understand is
Cincinnati's got to play Central Florida at Central Florida Saturday.
Yeah.
And they're 4 or 5 point favorites.
I think the most interesting game of the week to me is LSU with all this time off at Arkansas, and LSU is the favorite by 3. Does that surprise you?
Oh, me.
I can't believe LSU's favored against
If
anybody.
LSU had a quarterback, they'd be good. So if they found them a quarterback during that period of time, that quarterback they got sure can't win.
Michael, where'd you get your line from?
It's online.
Mississippi, Arkansas favored by 3.
ScoresandOdds.com. LSU was at one time a 1.5 point underdog, but now they're up to 3.
Arkansas right now, Michael. LSU's favored by 2, and the over/under 64.
Yeah,
right now.
I'm looking on Scores and Odds. LSU.
Yeah, that's
What I'm looking at is going up 4.5. Yeah.
LSU's the favorite.
Auburn's a 10-point favorite over Tennessee.
I think Auburn will rout them.
11.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pruitt, if he wins this game, he could basically save his job. But I don't see them winning too many more games for the rest of the season.
They get to play Vandy.
Come off up there inside somewhere.
Some information that I just got over the phone just a while ago. Of course, the championship game, Pike Liberal Arts playing Glenwood Academy of Phoenix City this Saturday from Crampton Bowl of Montgomery. That is this Friday from Crampton Bowl. And that game, you cannot buy tickets at the game, it says here. It says you have to go online to buy your tickets to the game. And each game's going to cost you $15 per game. So if you went to all the games, it'd cost you $45. At least that's the way we see it here. But right now, you can. The Alabama Independent School Association in Montgomery says this is where it stands now. Is that you'll have to call a certain number of the Alabama Independent Schools at 223-2207. If I can read his writing well. Here it is, 223-2207. That's the Alabama Independent Schools Association. That's how you order your tickets. You probably can get them at will call during the game. But the 3 games, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. First of all, we got to go on break. It is 8:05, and we'll be going on break at 8:05. Want to mention Class A has Crenshaw Christian of Luverne against Abbeville Christian. Boy, that should be a good one. Starting at 12 o'clock this Friday night, or Friday noon, at Crampton Bowl in Montgomery. Then at 3:30, the Class 2A championships features Chambers Academy of Lafayette against the Scambia Academy.
Is it Lafayette or Lafayette? What are they?
They're Lafayette. No, Lafayette.
Lafayette's in Alabama.
Yeah, I know. That's where they're located. Chambers County is located in Lafayette.
Hugh Fountain, the former Charles Henderson coach for 16 years, is the head coach of Scambia.
Yeah, oh yeah, and it does a great job. Class 2A, the Class 3A championships are scheduled for 7 o'clock at Crampton Bowl on Friday. Features Glenwood Academy out of Phoenix City and our own Pike Liberal Arts School here in Troy. And that game can be seen live right here on Troy Cable starting at 6:45 this Friday night. So won't that be nice? Troy Cable bringing you the championship game live from Crampton Bowl of Montgomery. And of course, all you viewers of Troy Cable, I would think you'd be able to pick it up on Facebook too. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Troy Cable Security Wi-Fi doorbell camera allows you to answer the door from your smartphone when you are at home, at work, or on the go. When a visitor presses the button, Troy Cable Security sends a live video feed to your smartphone so you can see, hear, and speak to the person at your door. With the doorbell camera, you can have your porch light turn on automatically when it detects motion at night to create the appearance that someone is at home. You can view video clips so you can always know who stopped by when you are out. Troy Cable Security. You love them, protect them.
By its very nature, doing big things takes resilience and strength. You did the hard part. You did it, and will go farther still. Max is proud to be your champion, removing obstacles that get in your way. We make technology easy, saving and funds access uncomplicated, and provide help when and how you want it. You control your money with expert guidance from Max Credit Union. Smart money made simple.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Troy Cable Security Wi-Fi doorbell camera allows you to answer the door from your smartphone when you are at home, at work, or on the go. When a visitor presses the button, Troy Cable Security sends a live video feed to your smartphone so you can see, hear, and speak to the person at your door. With the doorbell camera, you can have your porch light turn on automatically when it detects motion at night to create the appearance that someone is at home. You can view video clips so you can always know who stopped by when you are out. Troy Cable Security. You love them, protect them.
Hey, Will, whatever happened to Joe Kelly? I mean, I know.
Back to our show, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by Circle Insurance in Ozark and Noble Manor in Troy for assisted living. Ladies and gentlemen, no better place than Noble Manor on Botts Avenue right here in Troy. We were talking on the air, you know, the combination of Danny Grant, Joe Kelly to Danny Grant was a tremendous high school combination. Where is Joe Kelly today? Nashville?
All right, Joe was an executive with the National Life and Accident Insurance Company in Nashville. Big time. I mean,
he was the CEO. He was the head guy.
Yeah, head man. Well, he's retired, but he still lives in Nashville.
Okay.
And he's got a place. He's got a place down in Florida too. And he doesn't come to Ozark very often. But his brother is an insurance man in Ozark. And his younger brother, he played at Florida State, and he played with Wilbur Jackson in high school.
Yeah.
And this is funny. Alabama was looking at Alan Kelly for quarterback to go to Alabama, and Pat Dye was recruiting him. And Pat Dye took the film from Tom McClendon up there, and they were looking at the film, and Coach Bryant said, I don't want that quarterback, I want that wide receiver, and it was Wilbur Jackson. And Wilbur became the first African-American player at Alabama.
That's right.
He still lives in Ozark. I've been his lawyer for close to 40 years. He's a very, very great guy. And you know what? He's only been back to Alabama one time since he graduated. And that was to bring out the ball. Saban found out that he hadn't been back all those years, and so they honored him and brought him up to bring out the ball for a game 4 or 5 years ago.
But I'll tell you this, he's one of the most humble people, and almost too humble. You know, he represents Ozark as one of the great athletes of all time.
Michael, you could probably look it up, but he was either the number 3 or number 4 draft choice in the draft.
Yeah.
And he got $100.
He played eight years in the NFL.
Yeah, he got $150,000 signing bonus, which back then was a pile of money.
Yeah.
And what he did, he never touched that money. He put it in the bank, put it in a CD.
That's just hearsay now. Okay.
No, it's not either. It's true. And I'm going to tell you what he did with it. He borrowed off of that to build his parents a house there in Ozark, and he lives in that house. And
he lives in that house.
He lives in that house, but he built a house for his mom and daddy, and he never bought. All the years he's in the NFL, he never bought any real estate. He would rent, and saved his money, and you know, and that's very unusual for an athlete to you know.
You know, back when Bud was on.
He was number 9 pick in the first round.
There you go. Yeah.
And if you looked at him, if he walked in the room right now, you would think he could still play.
I think San Francisco drafted him, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, he played with San Francisco most of the time.
Played with them, and then he went to the Redskins. He's got 2 Super Bowl rings.
You know who his roommate was? The former Auburn great running back. You know, they were teammates for a while.
In college or in pros?
Yeah. What's the Auburn guy that stayed in the pros such a long time, Mike? Played fullback?
No, he didn't play with Richardson. You talking about Tommy Agee?
No, Richardson, who I'm talking about. Richardson.
Richardson's a lot younger.
Richardson's a lot younger. He played at Delville.
Yeah.
A lot younger.
You talking about Cribbs or Brooks? Or,
no, I'm talking about the Auburn running back that stayed in the pros such a long time. He's more of a blocking back type
William
guy.
Andrews?
No.
Andrews.
I think he...
Tommy Agee?
One Agee either.
No, I can't remember any Auburn player.
Well, this guy stayed in the pros forever.
Auburn had a lot.
I want to say Richardson, but it wasn't Richardson, was it?
No.
You know, I mean, this would have been a guy that played in the 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wilbur graduated in like 74.
Yeah. And, of course, wore number 80. That was another unusual thing. He was running back and wore number 80.
He was 46 at Carroll High.
Yeah. What, 46?
Yeah. 46 at Carroll High.
That's
oh,
right.
yeah. They've got his jersey hanging in the high school over there.
At one time at Carroll High School in Ozark, they had 3 guys that started for Alabama at one time. Wilbur Jackson, Ellis Beck, and Dexter Wood.
That's right. Started
on the same team. But you know what? Old Frank Sadler, little Frank Sadler that used to come and sit down.
Yeah.
He took a team down there. That wore them out. And that was the only game they lost.
The only game they lost, he didn't wear them out. He beat them like
But what I'm saying,
point.
they had beaten Dothan, they beat Northview, but Charles Citizen's team went down with Al Head, though, a very good quarterback.
I think Ozark missed the extra pointer they decided.
They got beat, though.
Yeah, that's the only game Ozark lost. They're 9-1.
That's right. But boy, what a great program they had back then.
Oh yeah.
With those guys right there. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, we're jumping back and forth from.
Well, they're playing golf in St. Simon Island this weekend on PGA Tour. Have you ever played that course?
I have. And they play the SEC there every year now.
If I remember, narrow fairways,
Davis
real narrow.
Love, well, they've got 2 courses there. I don't know which one they're playing, but Davis Love's the local pro there, and basically it's his little deal. He has a big party.
Let me get something real clear before I forget, and excuse me for interrupting. The games, the private school state championship games start in Montgomery this Friday, at 12 noon. You have to buy your ticket through the Alabama Independent School Association. Your game ticket is $15. If you paid $15 and you went to the first game and you stayed through and you would not have to pay again unless you left the stadium. Now, if you leave the stadium, to get back in, it's gonna cost you $15 more.
Right.
So right now you can go for $15, but you're gonna have to stay inside the stadium the whole night long. So that'd be for all 3 games. If it would cost you $15, and but if you left and went to get something to eat, or left and for any other reason to get back in, you're gonna have to pay $15 more.
Right.
So $15 unless you leave the stadium.
All right, Max, let's go over some SEC games with you this weekend.
All right, here we go. Everybody's got their pen and pencils ready, Max.
Auburn, Tennessee. Right now, Auburn's 11.5-point favorite.
Well, from what we've ever seen in the last couple of weeks about Tennessee, the wheels have come off up there. Pruitt's certainly perched on the hot seat. Auburn playing at home, guys. Look, that 10-pointer probably hold up. I'll take Auburn in the 10 in a heartbeat.
Okay, Auburn to win the game big. Okay.
All right, we just talked about this.
Will you go ahead and put your 2 cents worth in? Who you like?
LSU is a
I like Tennessee.
3-point favorite now.
Of course.
Tennessee whipped Auburn, I think, last year or 2 years ago, and they were a big underdog that day. And I just think Gus has been going on borrowed time all year. He's lucked out and beat Arkansas, lucked out and beat Ole Miss. I mean, Tennessee could snatch it. I'd love to see it.
I don't think they got them in it. I don't think they got the guts to beat Auburn.
Guys, if you watch Tennessee play, guys,
they're playing bad.
They're awful right now. They really are.
Did they play last week at all?
But they played well. They played well up to the first half of the Georgia game.
Yeah, they were ahead of Georgia.
They were. The wheels have come off. I don't know what Pruitt did or whether they got problems internally with the players. I don't know. But they have not been the same football.
All right. Let's just hear on who you like. All right, you like Auburn, given the 10.
I like Tennessee plus points.
And Will likes Tennessee plus. Okay.
LSU at Arkansas. LSU's now a slight favorite.
I like Arkansas.
Of course they got. I'm going with Arkansas in that one. In a close one. I think they kick a field goal at the end and win that ball.
Yeah.
Florida at Vandy. Florida's at 31.5. Do we think they're going to cover the 31.5?
They'll have it the first half.
I think they'll cover.
They'll be 30 up at the half. Now they might turn off the water hose on them the second half, but I think they'll cover that. Should.
We talked about this game. I've watched Cincinnati a lot. They're really, really good. UCF lost 2 games this year. Cincinnati at UCF, 5.5-point favorite. What do y'all think about that game?
They're playing at UCF?
Yeah.
Boy, if somebody's going to beat Cincinnati, they're going to do it right now.
That's the only game Cincinnati can probably lose.
Who you like, Max?
I think I'm going to go with UCF at home.
Take the points, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it'll be a high-scoring game. Now, Cincinnati's got a good defense, but I still think it's going to be a high-scoring game.
Alabama against Kentucky. This game will be on the SEC Network at 3 o'clock. Alabama's a 31-point favorite. Over-under is only 58.
I love Kentucky in this. I love them.
58. That means Alabama will score 50. It'll be 50-8.
I disagree. I think Kentucky will play Alabama to 2 or 3 touchdowns. I think it'll be a low-scoring game.
Well, we know this. They're going to have to run the football.
If it's a low score, that means Alabama just pulls. They pull the wood.
And I think they will. I think they'll. They play Auburn next week, so I think they're going to lay back a little bit. They're not going to risk getting anybody hurt.
Isn't that amazing?
Beat Auburn. They want to beat Auburn. Max, I don't care what the line is, Alabama-Auburn, they're going to beat Auburn to death for last year. It's going to be, it'll be relentless. They won't let up. I don't even think they'll punt.
I don't know about that.
I think they'll go for it on 4th down every time they can.
That's the Alabama guy talking, and of course,
I'm
all right, we got Georgia 24.5 at home against Mississippi State. Georgia's offense is really struggling at quarterback. Will they even score enough points to cover that?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think Mississippi State will score.
Let me tell you guys, but the other side of that, Mississippi State is awful.
They are terrible.
Mike Leach is way behind ball right now, I tell you. Internally, there's a lot of problems over there on his system. He's had 9 kids transfer out over the last.
That is terrible, isn't it? That's
now you got the Battle of Columbia. You got Missouri against South Carolina. South Carolina's coach has been fired. Missouri is a 6.5-point favorite at South Carolina.
I'm taking Missouri in that one because they got them leaving too. They've lost four defensive players since Monday in South Carolina.
A lot of people leaving.
All right, so you like Missouri? You like Missouri?
I love Missouri,
and giving the points.
Oh, Missouri will kill them.
Yeah, I think
great game. Great game here. Can Hugh Freeze do it one more time? I know Max loves Hugh Freeze. Liberty travels to NC State. They just beat Virginia Tech on the road 2 weeks ago. Now traveling to NC State. NC State 3.5-point favorite against Liberty.
I think NC State's going to beat them.
I do too.
I don't.
All
I think Liberty goes undefeated.
So you like NC State, Max?
Yeah, I take NC State in that one. Yes.
They're playing pretty good right now. I know that.
I've watched Liberty. Liberty plays good. I mean, they've got a good team.
You know, they're playing with a former Auburn quarterback.
He's a good player too.
Yeah, Malik Willis is his name. This game is called Bedlam. Oklahoma State traveling to Oklahoma. Oklahoma's a 7-point favorite.
They'll beat them 20.
I like Oklahoma too.
I'm taking Oklahoma that one. Yeah.
They're playing well right now, and you know if they hadn't lost those first 2 ball games, I think that's right. They'd be a contender, but I don't believe because of that they won't.
Yeah, I think. Won't Oklahoma and Texas play again in the championship?
Yeah, possibility.
Probably so. Texas was lost one.
That'd be a good game.
Something like that.
That was a great game early in the year. What was it, 4 overtimes or something?
Yeah. Isn't it surprising to know that Alabama and Auburn are just in 2 weeks? Their game is just in 2 weeks. That is
and just remember what I said. The line's going to be about 20. It'll be the highest line Alabama-Auburn's been since Chisnick's last year. And I think Alabama was favored 21 or 2 that game and pounded them.
Yeah. We'll talk about that next week.
Last 3 games are Sun Belt games. You got an interesting game here. Georgia Southern goes on the road. They've only lost 2 games to Army. Army's a 4.5-point favorite.
I like Army.
That's going to be.
I think I'll take Army too on that one.
I tell you, that's going to be a close one right there.
Army just got blown out by Tulane.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Where are they playing the game?
At Army.
West Point.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be cold up there.
That's going to be a tough one right there. I would go with the Army, I think.
Appalachian State will be traveling to Coastal Carolina.
I'm taking Coastal.
I am too.
Appalachian State playing at home to Coastal Carolina is the home team. Is that right?
Right.
Okay, that's what I want to find out. I would take Coastal at home.
They're playing on the Teal Field. And then in Troy, Alabama, the game will be on ESPN3. Troy already beat Middle Tennessee 47-14. But the line is only 11.5 in Troy for Troy to beat Middle Tennessee State again. Who do you think is going to win that game?
Troy.
I'm taking Troy, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, surely give the point. I don't think.
I mean, Middle has won two games. Tony Franklin, offensive coordinator. You know, I mean, I think it's going
to be a close game. I think, but I think Troy. I'm thinking they're hungry enough to win that ball game.
But that's the games that are kind of interest this week. Who knows how many of these will be canceled later this week?
Yeah, I know it.
The way it's going.
It's only Wednesday. You never know. There were some canceled Friday last week.
Oh, Troy got canceled on Friday morning right when we were doing the show.
Right.
But, you know, if you'll think about it, Max, a lot of these cancellations are positive notes for some of these teams. I mean, like LSU, see them not being able to play against Alabama see, that just gave them a week or two to prepare for them, you know.
Well, I know, but Mike, I guess I don't know where you guys have kept up with what's going on internally down there. They got lawsuits coming out at the zoo.
Oh yeah.
They got infractions coming. They got sexual assault and battery charges. They got rape charges. I think the last time I saw there was like 9 suits started against them.
Oh man.
Max, did you hear there were 3 LSU players that transferred out this week?
I heard, so I didn't know the number.
Yeah. 2 of them transferred to Penn State, and 1 of them transferred to the state pen.
Oh gosh. Oh brother. Hey, so all of that was facetious?
Yes.
Okay, all of that was facetious, if you want to use that wording. Well, I appreciate so much, Max. You know, I know you haven't had as much time to cook, but with the Thanksgiving holidays coming up, what are you going to do?
Well, like yours, we're going to do traditionally. But of course, this past weekend, we did a Brunswick stew cooking down on the river. A friend of mine got a huge house down there. I mean, we're right that you can come off the river and tie up. And we went down Sunday afternoon and cooked a big Brunswick stew, and I did some fried okra for hors d'oeuvres for the guys, and that worked out very well. We had a couple of salads, some fruit salad and coleslaw, garlic bread, and cornbread on the side in addition to that as well. And kind of went light on the dessert, a banana pudding.
Oh boy!
Is that the Tom Bigby River?
Yeah, the Tom Bigby.
Yeah.
The Tom Bigby River. Yeah.
Right. The banana pudding we fixed was in a deep bowl. It was like 8 inches thick, high. We layered vanilla wafers, bananas, and Cool Whip.
All right.
Boy, it sounds good.
And then
Max, I need to get one of Max's cooking books for my wife.
Yeah.
Well, they're out of print right now. I'm either going to reprint that, or I'm writing a new one, a big table. It's got 1,000 recipes in it. It'll be probably out, I'm going to probably say now 2021 or early 22. That's a full-time job doing that, guys, I'm going to tell you.
Exactly right. Our prayers and our thoughts go out to Sim Bird today. Sim Bird's fighting for his life in Montgomery, and our prayers and our thoughts are with he and his family and Faith, his wife, and please pray for Sim and to recover from this. And you know, he was a dear friend to all of us, Max. But there's never. I don't think there's any question in anybody's mind. The reason Troy University is where it is today in football is because of a guy like Sim Bird, who had a coach named Billy Atkins.
Together, Mike, back in the 60s, and certainly administration, gets a Dr. Ralph Adams brought Billy Atkins in, and certainly the rest is history.
No question about it.
A great opportunity for me in my career as well.
No question about it. We hope you've enjoyed our show today, and Max, we appreciate you. And our Thanksgiving show will be next week. And I know are you gonna fry your turkey? Or you gonna what are you gonna do?
We're gonna have one. We got a small one. We're gonna fry. Then we'll do the tradition. We feed 14.
You're against the law.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You can have more than 10.
Give me a break, guys. I live in Etowah County, Mississippi.
Yeah.
I can promise you, we kind of do like we did in the 50s. We all carry, and we don't pay a whole lot of attention to a lot of the laws.
Well, I'll tell you this: if you are going outside your premises, if you're going to the post office or to the
I gotta run.
Drugstore, and ladies and gentlemen, Will Matthews.
Good to be with y'all.
Will Matthews has left the building. Remember War Eagle, and remember Roll Tide as they get ready for some big weekend of college football. Of course, Troy in a big game tonight, with Troy this weekend against Middle Tennessee. Those tickets, you have to call the alumni office, the ticket office at Troy to get more information on how you can pick up those tickets. But again, wear those masks and be responsible and do the right thing. If you're outside your premises, wear a mask and protect other people.